On Jubilee, you crossed verbal swords with Alex when he proposed that Jesus didn't claim to be God. In
Yeah.
doing so, he excluded the Book of John, given the scholarly consensus that it's at
Yeah.
least historically accurate. What do you make of that claim?
Yeah. I mean, I personally, I think a lot of it is rooted in kind of the Bart Ehrman camp. He's a scholar. He's an atheist scholar. He's a guy that Alex had on his podcast. And Alex, the reason why I say that is because he regurgitated some of the things that him and Bart Ehrman discussed on their podcast, on his podcast together. And my initial you know, for anyone who hasn't seen the format, you basically go in the circle. You have to race to get to the middle, and then you get to talk until the circle votes you out. So you don't. It's not as a long form content as you would like, a long form discussion. My retort to it would be, even if the Gospel of John didn't exist, all of the early Christians would have thought Jesus claimed to be God. Like you don't like it's significant and important. And there's some things that we may learn about Jesus, some stories that are there, but you don't need the Gospel of John in order to understand that Jesus is claiming to be God. So that's like the funny part of it. You could just grant it just for the sake of the argument and go, oh, okay, like still claiming to be God in the other Gospels. So, but I have this, actually, I have a book here. For anyone who sees this visually, Jesus and the Eyewitnesses, incredible book. And this is a scholarly work. It's thick. And a lot of it is spent, it's all spent on all the Gospels, eyewitness accounts. And a lot of it is spent on the book of John and why it's actually reliable. So there is scholarly work and evidence done on why John is a credible account of Jesus's life.
So you alluded to a bit about the format of Jubilee. Did you find it frustrating, the voting out system, or is it all just part of the cut and thrust of the format?
Yeah, it's part of the cut and thrust. Some guy, I like that term. Some people did find it frustrating. I think I just had the expectation going in, like, hey, this is just what it is, and I'll be blessed to honestly get 4 or 5 minutes of talking with this guy, and I did. Right, so I won't go into like all the production and I have the full experience of what really happened. And some things are different in reality than how it plays out. And so I won't go, much into that, but I will say one thing that is unique, and this shouldn't be that surprising. There's 4 different segments, and they shifted them around. And so I was actually the very first person to debate Alex. Whereas if you watch the video, it actually seems like I'm on the near the end. So
Interesting. Why do you think they shifted it like that?
I don't know. I mean, I think it made sense for the shift as I watched the video. I think I just they're a great production company, and I think that I'll tell you this. I'll put it like this. I felt pretty rough coming out of that. Like, oh my gosh, it really feels like Alex just cooked the majority of people in the circle. And in some ways he did. And it's 25 Christians. Some of us were prepared, right? Some of us are prepared for a conversation like that. Some, they just applied. They just came on. They don't even and it's really tough to be put in that situation. And so I think they actually did a great job of putting it together to making it flow well. So I'm not like mad about it or anything.